Before we begin to dive our exciting topic, I would like to ask you one question. How do you make decisions? Raise your hands if you rely on your brain. Okay. Raise your hands if you rely on your heart and senses. Oh, very interesting results. The most of you consider yourself rational people. I may upset you, my friends. 90% of the time, we don't use our brain to make decisions. We act intuitively. Why is this happening? Our brain nowadays is overload amount of incoming information, and it prefers to live in autopilot mode. We receive a lot of information nowadays. 90% of information we consume today has been created only last 2 years. We receive hundreds of letters and calls. We received more than 3,000 advertising messages every day. Can you imagine the people who live in 17th century receive as much information in all their life as we do only 1 month? And only way to maintain attention today and to make a strong impression is to use our senses and emotions. Our feelings and emotions are stable. These connect with our instincts, and that it remains unchangeable. Let's try to look example of IKEA, largest furniture retailer. Did you know that Ingvar Kamprad, the owner of IKEA, was very rational and economical person? He had an extremely modest lifestyle. He flew economy class, and he demanded the same from his family and his subordinates. He flew economy class, he drove cheap Volvo model, and stayed in budget hotels. The success of IKEA in combining rational and sensual components. On the one hand, the good furniture at an affordable price. On the other hand, their showrooms, when every consumer can choose cozy space for themselves. Isn't it brilliant to sell not sofa or a lamp, but a feeling of comfort and special atmosphere of the home? IKEA involves all our senses very effectively. We can imagine the room, our future room. We can touch all furniture. We can lie on the bed. The flow of the customers are regulated dynamic music that can speed up or slows down. In kitchen area, aroma of meatballs are spreaded. And in the cafe, we can try to snack, to taste IKEA. In marketing, we name this the theory of sensory marketing. The idea of sensory marketing belongs on Martin Lindstrom, a Danish brand builder and consultant for such as big company as Microsoft, Mercedes-Benz, McDonald's, and so on. His main idea is use not only visual perception of the brand, but also to connect with all 5 human senses. The research shows that good sound increases a chance of purchasing product by 65%, a pleasant taste by 23% and pleasant smell by 40%. The people in 26% more likely to buy a product pleasing to touch and 26% more likely to buy a product that pleasing to the eye. A lot of industries use the sensory marketing theory. It used by concept restaurant, car dealership, hotels, retailers, event makers, and so on. But this theory we can use in our everyday life very successfully. Going through the job interview, negotiating, or dating as well. All of us are different. We have unique appearances, aromas, voice timbre, characters, temperaments, and values. And each of us needs to know your unique and distinctive characteristics and traits, and form your unique own image to make a lasting impression. I'm sure that every person have a special code, ID code. It's a combination of special characteristics and sensory reaction. Like you know, ID of the computer or an IT system. Let me show you my ID code that you can also come up with your IDs. I know my strengths as well. It is creativity, good intuition, as well as the ability of inspire and motivate people. I love all news, everything new. I live in the future and consider yourself visionary. My main archetypes are the creator, the aesthete, and the magician. These are roles that I take on in my private life, in my family, at work, in all my projects. My activities are related with educational sphere, marketing, and personal branding. Dancing is my hobby. I prefer to use classic style of clothing in blue tones. It corresponds with educational area and business sphere. I use flying clothing elements like scarves, skirts, and dresses, which reflected my inspiration and motivation, and try to demonstrate my audience it. I'm optimist. I love life and people. That's why I often smile. I love hugs, if it is appropriate. I prefer to use all these elements in my photos, videos, presentations, social media accounts, and so on. As we already noticed, I have an active gesture, speak with my hands, and actively move around the stage despite of the instruction of organizers. If it's necessary, I use in my materials or a video or some events very dynamic, positive electronic music that reflect my aspirations of the future. Also, I carefully choose the scent to reflect my main archetypes. My perfume and essential oils contain notes of vanilla, scents, jasmine, iris, and so on. I am sure that it is a very important part of my image. I know my ID code and use it in my job, in my private life, in all my projects. Now you know. In order to stand out and be remembered, you need to know your own code of your personality and try to demonstrate it through the special attributes, feelings and emotions to your audience. I really hope that my speech will encourage you to analyze yourself outside and inside. When you're returning home, try to look in the mirror carefully and find your distinctive features. Analyze your movement and gestures. And if you do it, I'm sure you can make a long-lasting impression. Thank you.